gentlemen, we are back with Season 7. Yes, you heard that right. Season 7 of DRL ACC Racing. I'm Dan Delatorre, and this season, I'll be calling the action alongside my broadcast partner, Morgan, who, of course, isn't here today, so you're stuck with me for now. We are beyond excited to bring you a 7th season of action in DRL. A huge thank you goes out to all our staff, admins, and supporters. None of this would be possible without you. We've got a stacked grid this season across all 3 classes, Pro, Pro-Am, and AM. Let's take a look at some of our drivers. In our Pro class, we have Kyle Hirsch and his brother Daniel Hirsch teaming up with Hirsch Racing. Spencer Braun, Darren Wicks, mild partner Gav Cook, and the fan favorite Cooper Atherton, Dean Stefani, and to round out the pros, we have the great Neil Kerbel. In our Pro-Am class, we have Albert Giannia ready to defend his Season 6 title, Arturs Hermanis, Mitch Nairati, Evan Zaborg, Vladislav Maverick, Tayfun Yildirim, Danil Nagasev, Bradley Cooper, and Don Donovan. And finally, to round out the grid, we have our AM class, Don Fossman, Senior Tarugo, Season 6 AM champion Tyler Morgan, Damian Zawatsky, John Malott, Russell Stanford, and Alan Leung. 3 classes, 1 grid, and a whole lot of talent. Buckle up. Season 7 of DRL ACC Racing is officially underway, and if you thought last season was wild, you haven't seen anything yet. Our first race of the season takes us to Misano World Circuit, a technical, high-speed track located on the coast of Italy. Originally opened in 1972, the circuit features 16 corners spread across 4.2 kilometers, and drivers can expect to hit top speeds just over 250 kilometers per hour. The DRL lap record for Misano is held by none other than the legend himself, Jacob Stavko, with a lap time of 1:33.575. Now, let's take a tour of Misano with a hot lap brought to you by Pro Class driver Kyle Hirsch, clocking in with a blistering 1:33.9. Let's ride on board and see how it's done. Down the main straight towards turn 1, Variante del Parco. Brake at the 100-meter board for a sharp right-left chicane. Kyle brakes late, clips the inside of turn 1, hops over the sausage curb at turn 2, and stabilizes the car for the sweeping right of turn 3, letting the car drift out wide on exit. Into turn 4, the first ride of the Curva del Rio sequence. Kyle trail brakes in, shifts weight to the front tires, and flows smoothly into turn 5, holding a tight, stable line through the second right. Now, quick transition left for turn 6. He gets back onto the throttle clean. We brake late into 8. It's a long, tightening left-hander. Pushing now towards turn 9, which curves gently to the right into the double apex of turn 10, Tramonto. This is one of the slowest points on the circuit. Kiss the apex, then open up the exit through turn 11, maximizing traction onto the back straight. Flat out here as we approach the iconic Curvoni, the fastest corner of the lap. Don't lift if you're brave and hold the car steady through the high-speed right. Right turn into 13, another fast right-hander. Maximize exit speed and get a good run down the straight towards Caro. Sweep through turn 14, holding speeds and inching to the limit of grip. Caro is the tightest of these corners. No time to breathe as you head into the final turns. Turn 15, a fast left, taken nearly flat, followed by turn 16, a slower left-hander that demands a clean exit. Kyle holds it tight, straightens the wheel, and rockets into the front straight to close the lap. And that is a lap of Misano in the books. A 1:33.9 from Kyle Hirsch. A clinical, composed lap here from our Pro Class driver. Well, everyone, here we are, 10 minutes to the start of the race. Drivers are finishing up free practice. We have a new series part of this season, which is called Know Your DGen. Very much looking forward to it, and we're going to start with our first one here. We're going to get to know one of our drivers and a little more details. Before our race begins, let's take a moment to get inside the helmet. It's time for a new segment we're calling Know Your DGen. Our first driver of this season comes from the pro class and is none other than the creator of our hot lap video, the one, the only, Kyle Hirsch. Kyle is racing out of the United States of America, specifically the Golden State, California. His favorite track to race is none other than Mount Panorama, also known as Bathurst. Few tracks reward precision and punish mistakes like Bathurst. His sim racing journey started with classics like Need for Speed and Test Drive. Then came Forza and F1, and finally he found his way to the promised land, ACC. But there's something you might not know about Kyle. He doesn't just create highlight reels, he captures them. And I kid you not, this man can shoot. Photography isn't just a hobby for Kyle, it's an art form. Cars, weddings, family portraits, you name it, and he'll make it look incredible. That's Kyle Hirsch photography for you. Professional, creative, and 100% DRL approved. And there you go, your first edition of Know Your DGen. And if any driver who is featured in Know Your DGen wins their class, we will donate 5 Twitch subs to our followers. So to make sure to hit that follow button and cheer on your favorite DGen. All right, thank you to Kyle for sharing a little bit about himself and letting us get to know our DGens a little bit better. Well, without further ado, let's go watch the last 7 or so minutes of free practice. We're going to be sitting with Kyle as he finishes some laps here, currently sitting in 4th place. We have a pretty tight grid. Starting off right now with Darren Wicks in first, Neil Kerbel in second, and Gav Cook rounding out the top 3. Daniel Hirsch looks to have a little bit of work to do as he's sitting down in 9th place with quite a few pro-ams in between him. We've definitely shaken up the grid with how we've adjusted some of our class standings this season, but we should have some tight battles in every single class, and we're going to have some great action up and down the grid. It's going to be a lot for us to watch here. Let's take a look at Don Fossman, who did not update his livery for this race. Shame on you, Don. But nonetheless, we will get a little sneak peek at Don's livery later in the segment. Once we get to qualifying, it's going to be split into 2 categories. The AMs are going to go out first, and they will have 10 minutes to qualify and put up their best lap. That will be followed by the Pro-Ams and the Pros, who will have the final 10 minutes of the qualifying session to put up their best lap. You do not have to give up space on qualifying if you are slower than the car behind you, but if you invalidate your lap, you do have to give up that position. So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out between the Pro-Ams and the Pros, although I think by and large their paces will be close enough that it won't make a big difference. Now you guys are going to have to bear with me a little bit. I do not have any overlays set up. Morgan is the one who has all those, and he's not able to be here right now, so I'm kind of winging it as we go here, but we will make the best of this situation and have some fun tonight with our season opener, watching what our drivers can do on Misano. Let's get to behind the wheel with Neil here, see what it looks like. Really, the key with Misano here is to use all the available space and curbs. You can really take these sausage curves a lot of times and just look at on how the rails how Neil keeps his car here. So you want to use every inch that they give you as he's going to pull into the pit box here. And slow down. So one thing that's going to be challenging here without having any overlays or mods set up for this is moving to specific drivers. So we are going to be bouncing around a little bit, as I said, but we'll make do with what we have as we look at Sawatsky here. As Sawatsky's coming up to the final corner here, you really want to make sure you can get a good exit speed as you come through here, as we saw with our great hot lap put together by Kyle Hirsch, excuse me, one of those two Hirsch brothers. Really throw those cars over the curbs there. Oh, Sawatsky almost loses it. Let's move over to Season 6 Pro-Am winner, Mr. Giannia himself. So we will have 3 Know Your Degens, our new segment for this season. We'll have 1 in Pro, 1 in Pro-Am, and 1 in AM. If, as we said, any of those drivers win, 5 subs will be donated to the stream. So you could have up to 15 subs donated to the stream if all 3 of our Know Your Degens end up winning in their class. You know, Mr. Giannia is looking to defend his title. Both him and Tyler Morgan in the AM division are 2 drivers who are getting an opportunity to defend their title. Now, Giannia's got some tight competition with the likes of Nairati. Zaborg is another great one. You got Yildirim, who's new to the league, Don Donovan, Vlad Maverick, and of course, Bradley Cooper. It's going to be tight. The other person who's not here today, Arturas Hermanis. He's another great competitor who will look to make some headway in the Pro-Am division. All right, and with our final minute here, let's go over a couple focus areas of this race. We have some key overtake spots. We have the setup through turn 10 and, of course, the back straight. Find someone out on the track still before we continue. Here we go. We'll ride with Don Fossman here. We also want to take a look at the mistake zones on this track. We're going to be looking at Curva del Rio, Turn 14 entry, and track limits in the chicane. These are all points that can, parts of the track that can cause major issues for these drivers. We have the setup impact. We have the quali versus race setups. How are the drivers going to handle this? How is Turn 15 going to treat them in the brake bias? And of course, we have the most important factor, the racecraft. You need to have clean execution, and you got to find a rhythm through these sections for position gains. So let's see how this ends up breaking down in qualifying. Right now we got Wicks in first, we got Kerbal in second, Zaborg in third, Cook in fourth, Giannia in fifth, Hirsch in 6th. 7th, we got Braun. 8th, we got Yildirim. 9th, we got Donovan. 10th, we got Nairati. 11th, we have Daniel Hirsch. 12th, we got Tarugo. 13th, we got Morgan. 14th, Sawatsky. 15th, Maverick. 16th, Bradley Cooper. 17th, Don Fossman. And Alan Leung is rounding us up. We got some close battles up and down the grid. And in fact, we have our top 7 separated by less than a second and less than a hundredth of a second between Neil and Darren Wicks. Pally, what's up, my man? Thanks for joining the stream here. Hope you're having a great time. It's probably quite early for you, I would think. Not sure where you're at currently, but for those of you who don't know, Palinut is our good friend Arturus Hermanis, who will be out here leading the Pro-Ams this season. We believe in you, Pally. Oh, 7 a.m., it's late. Your day's practically over at this point relative to how it normally is. All right, we wait for Bradley Cooper and Daniel Hirsch here to finish whatever laps they're on. I really wish I had an easy way to move from one driver to another. All right, there we go. Session has ended. Let's get out there. Let's follow the great Tyler Morgan. Tyler Morgan was our Season 6 AM champion, looking to defend his title out here. Let's follow him on his outlap through Misano. Fanto, thanks for joining. My name is Dan Delatorre, one of the admins here, and I'll be commenting alongside Morgan this season. Morgan is unable to make it. You got it, Pally. Let me check that game audio. Thank you for the heads up. Is that better? Let me know and I can raise it. I'm trying to play with the audio levels a little bit here. As we got Tyler making his way through the final sector here, getting ready to start his lap. Coming through the last two turns. Let's see what he can put together. All right, let me raise that just a little bit. I'll raise it more in a minute if it needs to be. Just let me know. Tyler looking good, using all the available track. This doesn't come out wide. This is a tricky part of the track, one of the slower turns there. He's got that long straight into the chicanes here. He's got to utilize the curb. He put a 136.5. An okay lap here from Tyler. I think he's expecting better from himself. Let's see what we got. Tarugo putting up here. Looks like Tarugo's just starting his lap. Zawatzi's coming through. He hits the final curve here. Ooh, did he invalidate? I think he should be okay. Nope. So it looks like we got our AM driver struggling a little bit to put up a lap. Alan Leung, he's going to be 1.7 seconds behind Tyler. Don looking good. Let's move back to Tarugo, who looks like he'll be the next to complete a lap, assuming he hasn't invalidated throughout this first section here. Misano can be a tricky track. I'm trying to utilize every possible inch available to you. A lot of high-speed technical turns. You're taking a lot of curb. And it's easy to unsettle the car, take a little too much speed at some of these turns. Got a few sections on the track where you have like 5 or 6 right-hand turns in a row. But let's see as Tarugo comes out of the final turn here. What is he going to put up for his qualifying lap? Great exit on that turn, and he is going to put up, not quite there yet, a 137. 137.6 for Tarugo. All right, Gav, you can talk to me either way. Either way, I'll pull you into the booth with me, buddy. And yeah, it's been a long time since we raced Misano. This was actually voted on by our Patreon subscribers. They decided this was the track that they wanted to start the season on based off a vote, so here it is. Don Fossman is still the last one here to put up a time. Let's ride along with him and hope he can keep this lap validated. I know from chatting with him earlier, he was really struggling to get the feel for this track. You really need to have that feel to push it the way we watch in practice with some of these guys like Kerbal, Wicks, the Hirsch brothers, these guys that are top racers here. You really got to have a good feel for this track. Don's not quite there yet, but usually Don finds it in qualifying. Over these 6 seasons he's completed, Don always finds his way. As he looks to be finishing pretty strong here. We got a high speed. We're going to kind of slow it down a little bit. You can get a good run. You can carry more speed in that turn than it looks like. This is the one where you really got to be careful. You just want to kiss that apex and really use all the available space. He takes that pretty well as he lines up the left-handed turn. He'll have one final turn here to finish his lap, and let's see what Don can put up. Looks like a good exit there. All right, not bad, Don. Don's about 137.1. So right now, Tyler's 136.5 is still holding. We got Zawadzki half a second behind him. Don Fossman right behind him. Leung, who's just split between them, and Tarugo, who's pulling it up in the rear right now. But boy, oh boy, is this close. We have nearly all our AM drivers within a second of each other. Many of these guys within 100th of a second of each other or less. Now, Alan Leung is in the pits. I wonder if he is calling it here or if he is looking to make a quick adjustment and try to get out for one final lap. I'm not sure if he'd have time to do that or not. Let's see how Tyler can finish up here as he's trailing behind Tarugo. He has plenty of space. Again, we're coming into a tricky section on this track with all these right-hand turns. Carry a lot of speed into them, and then you got to kind of be very careful here. Could definitely have carried more speed into that turn. Here's where you got to be a little cautious. Does a good job of using the inside and all his runoff space. Opens up. We got 2 left-handers coming up to finish this lap. Looks good here, but we need to get good traction out of this corner to get a good run towards the start-finish line. And here he goes. That looked pretty good. Will he beat his time? No, he won't. 136.5 is still what holds. I'm not sure that we're going to see better than this through this. Oh, no, Tarugo does. A 136.53 for Tarugo. Absolutely incredible. 0.06 of a second he beats Tyler by. Whoo! What a run for Tarugo. All right, let's see if you're right, Nyrads. Let's follow Tyler here. Gave himself a little space for one final run. We got Zawadzki and Leung. They are in the pits right now. Fossman's pulled into the pits. They're going to call that a qualifying session, which honestly was a great run for all three of those guys. We got Tyler and Tarugo battling it out here with just fractions of seconds separating them. Good job of utilizing all the track there. Great job. Use all the track there. I don't think he invalidated there. It looks like he's good. Just got to keep pushing through and finish strong on this lap. Looks like Tarugo pulled into the pits. And he goes wide and invalidates his lap. You hate to see it from poor Tyler, but a great qualifying for our AM group here. Yeah, he just pushed a little too hard. He was really going for it. He must have been looking at that delta and knew he had just hundreds or thousands even of seconds that he had to make up and just took a little bit too much. Great run for Tarugo, who really put in a great lap at the end there, and Tyler put up a great time. Zawadzki, Leung, and Fossman, they're all right there. It's going to be a great battle in AM tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. Now we got some big dogs coming out there with the Pro-Am and the Pro drivers. Will be interesting to see if any of these pros start to catch any of the AMs and how that plays out. Remember, they are not allowed to overtake in qualifying unless the driver in front of them invalidates their lap. Then they must give up the position. So we see it looks like one of the Hirsch brothers right behind Neil, just sniffing that tailpipe, as Tyler once said, as Neil gets ready to start his lap. And very interesting that Kyle did not leave much space. Let's hope that doesn't bite him in the rear as Neil comes out squirming out of that turn, taking all the corner, giving a little bit of curb there. Decent run through the chicane, though he got a little squirmy through turn one, which he might not be too happy with. Great job as he flows through this section. You know, Kyle's in front of him, so it's Daniel Hirsch that's behind him. So Daniel didn't leave much space to Neil, but that seems to not really be a problem as we look at this lap. Neil left a good chunk to Kyle, who's leading this pack out. Coming through one of the slower sections on the track. All right, let's see how Neil wraps up this lap. Runs a little bit wide there, but that's probably okay. So we got Kyle putting up a 134.7. And can Neil take that from him? No, I guess Neil invalidated at some point, as did Daniel, because both of their times are gone. No, Daniel's time is there. I lied. He's just kind of dropped down now, a second behind his brother. We got Darren at the top. We got Kyle Hirsch. We got Giannia. We got Gav, Yildirim, Zaborg, as the times are flying in here. Right now, it definitely seems like Daniel has some pace to make up. But a great lap from both our Pro and Pro-Ams. These are going to be tight between all these guys, as it looks like Neil might have invalidated there as well. Let's take a ride along with Spencer here. He looks to have invalidated there as well. Bradley Cooper, what can you do here? Ooh, did he invalidate there? A little squirmy there by Cooper. As he works his way through the Misano corners. Down the final straight. Did he put in a time? Looks like he might have ran wide there again. While we were watching Bradley, Vladislav, or Vlad Maverick, put up a time as well. He's down splitting Tyler and Zawatsky, so he's definitely going to expect better from himself there. Let's follow along with Zaborg. Evan Zaborg is one of our admin here. He helps run our iRacing League and has had a bit of an ACC hiatus, but has kindly joined us for another season, so it'll be very interesting to see what he's able to put up here, as he may have run a little wide there with Gav Cook right behind him. Tell you what, if he didn't invalidate there, he is really doing a great job of using all of that track. I'll have to fix it later. I thought I changed it to ACC. Actually, I'm like, I don't know what happened if it didn't change. Let's follow along with Darren Wicks, and let's take a look inside the cockpit here. I don't know if he's pushing or not. Doesn't really look like it here. It looks like he's going to take over that position as he was trying to figure out what was happening. Darren Wicks has had a firm grasp so far this season. Well, I should say so far on this track, from practice to now qualifying. 2/10 ahead of Kyle. So he's going to wrap up here, but I think this driver cam will really show how fast some of these guys are taking it, as the pack is kind of bunching up here a little bit as everyone kind of prepares for one final lap. But it will be interesting to see if anyone is impeding anyone else's races. Should have the car on absolute rails through these sections. Really utilize that curve and open up here for the Misano corners. All right, let's see what Darren can do here. Got great traction out of that final turn. As he comes down into turn one, he's going to brake, come right over these curbs. Utilizing all that track space. We got the tight double apex here. It's a good job of coming through and really opening up that turn, but you don't have a lot of room to do that. It's little things like that that separate the pros from the pro-ams and AMs. So those little bits of trail baking, just that little bit of car control. It's amazing how small of a difference there can be and how big of a time difference that can actually cause. flat out all the way through. Flat out again, staying brave. Hitting the brakes hard. Looking at him come through that. Whoo! On absolute rails. Kissing the apex here, and then again, we're going to open it up for these final 2 turns. This looks like a great lap from Wicks here. Will he improve on his 133.8? Doesn't look like he will. So we got about 5 seconds. Dawn's not going to go for it. Gav's out on a lap. It doesn't look like no one else is starting. Gav, possibly Nyrads will be the last 2 to go. See if Gav can do anything to make up some places here. Great qualifying from Giannia, though, who's currently in 4th. We'll see if Nyrads, we'll see if Gav, or we'll see if Zaborg are able to upset them. We got Kerbal and Hirsch still out there who are wrapping up their laps, but they are ahead of Giannia already. But a great job. What a way to start your title defense for Giannia this season. Whoo! Gav using absolute every inch of that available track there. Pal, you talking about game audio? Ooh, did Gav run a little too wide there? He did not, and he makes up some good places there. All right. Quali has come to an end. Turn up that game audio for you just a little bit. All right, and before we do a little grid walk here, we have one more Know Your DGen. Let's get this one started here with another one of our DGens who's probably not too happy with his qualifying, but nonetheless, he is our featured Pro-Am driver today. Let's take a moment to hop into the driver's seat for another round of Know Your DGen. Tonight, we'll shine the spotlight on a Pro-Am driver, bringing high-octane energy and international flair. Give it up for Vladislav Maverick. Vlad is racing with pride from the heart of Ukraine, a land of strength, resilience, and now, speed. He carries that spirit onto the virtual track every time the lights go out. His weapon of choice, the Bentley Continental GT3. Big, bold, British, a beast of a machine, and Vlad knows exactly how to tame it. When asked whether he prefers leading the pack or hunting from behind, Vlad chose the latter. He lives for the thrill of the chase. Pressure, that's just motivation with a steering wheel. And his soundtrack, straight from the early 2000s Hall of Fame, his favorite band is none other than the legends themselves, Linkin Park. So whether he's chasing down the lead, banging doors through the final sector, or just vibing with some Linkin Park in the sim rig, one thing's for sure. Vladislav Maverick is a DGen to watch. And that's your latest edition of Know Your DGen. And remember, if any driver featured in this segment wins their class tonight, we'll donate 5 Twitch subs to our amazing community. So hit that follow button now and show some love and cheer on your favorite DGen. All right, we got about 2 minutes here. Let's go through a quick grid walk. We have Kyle Hirsch. We got Darren Wicks. We got Neil Kerbal, Giannia. I did not see that Kyle overtook Wicks Whew, how about that? So let's go through this again. We got Kyle Hirsch, we got Darren Wicks, Neil Kerbel, Giannia leading the Pro-Ams, Spencer Braun, Evan Zaborg. We got Gav Cook, Don Donovan, Mitch Nairati, Daniel Hirsch, Yildrum, Cooper, Tarugo leading the AMs, Morgan, Maverick, Zawatsky, Leung, and Fossman. Yep. Try to get a quick look at some of these liveries here. Neil's got a nice clean one here. I'm also a fan of the Hirsch brothers this season. Always love the liveries that Spencer puts together. Donovan repping the Red Bull livery. A great qualifying for him. Third place in Pro-Am right now in a stacked Pro-Am division. We got Nyrads with a pretty sweet kind of space-themed one. Again, the Hirsch Racing. I love that graffiti look. Yildrum. We got Bradley Cooper, who did not correctly upload his livery, but Bradley has a very cool livery as well. We have Tarugo with a very cool livery here. Tyler, who looks like maybe his livery is not fully uploaded. It looks like he's missing some of his decals there. Vlad Maverick, which has the pretty sweet design there. Zawatsky, a nice clean look. Leung and Don Fossman, who also did not correctly upload his livery. So just as a reminder, we do a full outlap here at DRL. So as soon as this session starts in about 20 seconds, we will be going on a full outlap. And as I mentioned in your Know Your DGen segment, if any of our featured DGens, so we have from the Pro category, Kyle Hirsch, from the Pro-Am category, Vlad Maverick, if either of those two wins their class, they will earn a 5 sub donation to the channel. As we're going to take off here, and Kyle's going to really take away and take off there as Wicks is behind him. I think Kyle would be pretty happy if he could start his race with such a gap as well. But we got the drivers slowly working their way off the starting grid here as they're going to work their way through the track for an outlap to get ready to start the race. We have Season 7 about to officially get underway here. As we ride along with Giannia, we'll kind of move up and down the pack a little bit through these outlaps here. Pally, I cannot wait to see your livery. Did Spencer put it together for you, I'm assuming? Oh, we have a couple guys going to the pit. Spencer Braun and Don Fossman. I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but they are in the pits. So whether it was speeding, whether it was something, they got transported to the pits. Maybe it was an intentional start from the pits to avoid some turn 1 chaos. Honestly, not the worst idea in the world here. Yeah, I can only imagine. I'm really looking forward to see what Spencer did with it, and have to find out what exactly it was that put him through hell. It'll be exciting to see how your livery came out. Let's ride along with some of our AM drivers here, although it's kind of one big group. We're going to trail Taruga here down the straight. See them all start to bunch up. Some of the drivers here heating their tires with the little zigzag move. Little pre-race dance. And we'll have one more DGen to feature in a Know Your DGen segment. This one will end up playing sometime during the race for our AM driver. When we find a quick moment, we can pop that in for our featured AM driver of the day, or DGen of the day. All right, let's move up at the front of the grid here. We will follow Kyle Hirsch as we work our way through the final turn and we get ready to start this race. Any pre-race predictions? Throw them in the chat. I'd love to hear who you're rooting for, who you think's going to win, who will win in classes. All right, green light, and here we go. I'm going to take off down the straight. Kyle looks to have a pretty solid lead here, but will Kerbal take the inside? He will, of course he'll take the inside. He's starting on the inside line, but he will take that position from Wicks. We got Maverick with the drive-through penalty right off the bat. Must have sped a little bit coming through. But Kerbal has taken that place from Wicks as the three of them are battling it off here. And it is interesting to see Mitch in a Porsche. Happy to have Mitch back this season. Mitch also made the jump over to iRacing. So there was a bit of concern that he may not come back to ACC, but he has blessed us with his presence as Neil's going to make another move here on Kyle. They're going to be side by side going into some high or slower speed turns here. Kyle's going to hold that position, but Neil's kind of looking for the switchback to the inside, and he is not going to get it. As they're going to come down, and now we're going to be entering these high-speed turns. I don't think we're going to see a great overtaking move here, but we may get it on the last turn. As man, Kerbal is sticking right with him. Kyle still is in VR. I cannot believe he races completely in VR. It absolutely blows my mind. I'm like 4 or 5 seconds a lap slower in VR, which is saying something because I'm like last on the grid as it is. And Kyle has managed to sustain the pressure this lap, and Neil is absolutely putting on that pressure on him. I didn't see how Spencer got disqualified. I was so busy watching the start of this race here. As I mean, Neil is like right here. I hate to separate from this action at all. It feels like any moment now Neil's going to make that move. But as they say in GT3 racing, it is not easy to overtake. So it's going to be important for him to choose his position. Let's try to move down the grid a little bit. Look at some of these other battles. We got Daniel Hirsch right on the rookie Yildirim. You're right, Pally. Something must have happened, and he didn't start out of the pit lane, or he went too soon out of the pit lane and got disqualified from that. But yeah, it looks like Don made it out. Albeit Fossman is way trailing. And there Daniel goes. He's going to get past Yildirim, who it looks like is still going to fight back, but I don't think he's going to have much fight here. As Daniel Hirsch gets that position, and he's going to have Don Donovan in his targets, who has a little bit of a gap too. Let's look at Don, who's right behind Nyrads. Nyrads is in the Porsche here, which is different for him, so we'll see how he adjusts to this car. Kind of have Daniel holding up the back group. It's kind of back half, and then we got that front half going, and they've all stayed pretty bunched up well. Looks like Nyrads is going to be able to hold that pace a little bit. As we're sort of settling into the race here, everyone's kind of finding their race, finding their pace. Like I said, there's not a ton of overtaking spots. You're going to kind of have to make a move into one of these slower turns, and we saw Neil kind of attempt to switch back a little bit earlier. Neil has got in front of Kyle now with mega pace. We missed that kind of watch in the back. Vlad has still not served his drive-through penalty, and Neil is running away with this a bit, which is surprising to see that Darren has not really made up his places. Magus Mogus, thank you for the support of the Cult of Kerbal. Definitely appreciate that, and you are definitely doing something. He started in third. We've made our way up to first place for the great Neil Kerbal. Now, will Kyle be able to hold Darren? as he looks to make a move on Kyle as well. Magus, thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. And hopefully that'll bring some good luck and some good vibes to Neil to pull off a big win here for the season opening. Let's take a look here with Zaborg as he looks to be making a move on Gav. Coming down the straight in the chicane, he's going to think better of trying to make that dive in the inside, which was probably a good idea. The pit window is now open so for those of you that are new, you cannot pit for the first, 5 minutes in the last 5 minutes of the race. We had the old Kerbal incident where Neil finished a race by not pitting, and he finished it in the pit lane, crossing through. So ever since then, we have the Kerbal clause, which opens and closes the pit windows. Drivers do not need to take tires, but they do need to take fuel. Yeah, Fanto, Neil's livery is really nice. It's one of my favorites on the grid this year. Although, ooh, Zaborg comes in hot, and it looks like he maybe just gave Gav a little kiss there. Hopefully not too much damage for Zaborg. Gav seems completely fine with that. Yeah, and one thing I really like with Neil's livery, and kind of show him here, is it's the simplicity of it. It's nice. It's not overfilled with graphics or images. It's clean, it's crisp, and it stands out on track. I absolutely love it. Little lines that he made on the back. It kind of gives me like Spider-Man or Iron Man, like kind of superhero vibes. I think it's that like cross sections in the back. All right, let's take a look at Bradley Cooper, who looks to be making a move on Tyler Morgan. Is he really fighting it? I don't think so. He is staying kind of on the inside there. Looks to battle with him through the chicane, but Bradley Cooper's going to get it. One thing about Tyler is he knows who he's racing, and a lot of times he will not try to put too much pressure on drivers in different classes because it's just asking for problems, and he'd rather focus on his race and those he's competing against. However, Sawatsky is really running away with this AM class right now. Something like what? 5 seconds ahead of Tyler? Who Tyler did manage to make it ahead of Tarugo. Let's move back with Wicks up in the front, see if he can make any kind of move. We got Wicks is pretty close here. We got Zaborg is pretty close here. Tarugo's only half a second to Tyler. Less than that. He looks to be maybe making a move on Tyler. .310. Tyler's probably feeling the pressure here. Tarugo continues to close that gap on him. Really makes you wonder what ended up happening with Spencer and Don. I mean, Don ended up transporting to the pits during the start too, so I don't know if he just didn't get off the line or something happened with the wheel. But that's got to be a bit devastating for Don, who is like half a lap back of everyone here. All right, we got everyone kind of settling into their race here. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to hop over and we're going to do our final degen of the day. It's time, once again, to peer behind the visor and dive into another edition of Know Your Degen. Tonight's featured driver is a true DRL original, an OG on the grid, a man who's been turning laps longer than some of you have owned a wheel. This is Don Fossman, racing in our AM class, but with Hall of Fame stats. Don hails from the Great White North, Canada, where the winters are long, the maple flows pure, and the pre-race ritual includes a double-double from Timmy Hose. Smooth, sticky, and hard to pass, just like Don. When asked his favorite place to race, Don didn't hesitate. It's Donington Park. And no, it's not named after him, but that doesn't stop him from claiming it. When asked his favorite driver, Don didn't say Senna, Hamilton, or Verstappen. He named a man of mystery, charm, and cheekbones. Brad Pitt.
I think I'm key. I know I'm sexy. I've got the looks. The drive to go wild. I've got the move. That really move 'em.
Don's favorite DRL moment? That'd be the time he put a masterclass in patience and precision, passing Shooter McGavin not once, but twice in a single race. 2 clean overtakes, same race, same victim. Shooter never saw it coming. That's your final Know Your DGen of the day, and it couldn't end on a stronger note. Don Fossman, a man of speed, a Brad Pitt believer, and a certified DRL legend. If Don pulls off the win tonight in his class, we're dropping 5 Twitch subs to celebrate. So follow the stream and show your favorite DGen some love. All right, there you go. Don Fossman, our AM DGen of the day. Let's ride around with him for a little minute. But you did get a chance there to see his livery, which is a beautiful little livery that he's put together and rocked for quite a while now. So as we look up and down the track, Neil's made up a couple spots. Kyle's dropped 1, Darren's dropped 1. So where we currently stand is Kerbal in first, Kyle Hirsch in second, Darren Wicks in third, Gavin Cook in fourth. We got Evan Zaborg, who's in first place for the Pro-Am category, trailed by Giannia. We got Nyrad's about 4/10 behind him. Let's take a look at that. Yep, good call, Pally. Looks like we're right in time for a little battle here. We got a big gap from there to Daniel Hirsch, 6 seconds behind this battle here. Followed by Yildirim, Don Donovan, and then we have Damian Zawatsky, who was leading the amateurs, trailed by Bradley Cooper. And then we have Tyler Morgan, who still has Tarugo about 7/10 behind him, followed by Leung, Don Fossman, and of course we have Vlad Maverick pulling up the rear, who did have the drive-through penalty. Nyrads is looking for any little opening he can to throw that car on the inside on him. See if he makes a move coming down into turn 1 here. He can get enough run behind him, which I don't think he's going to have enough this lap. Yeah, he's going to kind of back out, make sure he gives himself a chance to not compromise any of his exits here. Stay right behind him because he's going to have another chance right up here. Is he going to throw it down the inside? No, he's not going to. And a great job by Giannia to just holding his line and handling the pressure that Nyrads is putting on him right now expertly. Come up here, we have a very slow turn here. Maybe able to make a move around the outside. I don't think so. Kind of look maybe for a little switchback. Not going to happen. We also got Zawatsky right behind Bradley Cooper. That's another one to watch as he looks to... It looks like Cooper actually just got ahead of him. So did Zawatsky let him through? Or did he just take that position on his own? Either way, Zawatsky's got about 1.5 seconds to Tyler Morgan behind him. And I'm sure he would love to put Cooper in between the two of them. Man, Nyrads is right behind him here. It's going to look good if he can get a good run out of this final turn. He set himself up well for a turn 1 move. Will Nyrads be close enough to make that move? Just keep getting closer and closer, just edging us along here. This one we got Darren Wicks, which is our closest battle. Let's take a look at Darren here. He's right behind Kyle Hirsch. Wicks and Nyrads are teammates this season with Rogue Element Racing. Talk about a powerhouse team right there. Beautiful shot down the back straight here. Ooh, Darren wants it. He's feeling it. Neil with a commanding 5-second lead right now. Woo! Magus Mogus really being a good luck charm tonight. I don't know how much Neil's paying you to be here, but it's certainly not enough. Man, what an incredible battle up front. Outside of Kerbal really running away with this race, we got Hirsch, Wicks, Cook, and Zaborg all right there with each other. Ooh, is this an opening? Not a good spot for Wicks to try to make that move. But yeah, Gav is right there. He's just waiting for his classic and through goes Hamilton moment. Let's take a look at what Gav sees as he's going through. No, to each their own out there, but a lot like Maverick, I also enjoy trailing someone. I think I have a little bit better pace, and moments like this are a lot of fun to be able to watch two great drivers battling it out in front of you, and you just know you gotta kind of wait for that moment, and you know, you're just kind of anticipating just one person's going to get too aggressive at some point, or one small mistake, and you get that opening, you get that double overtake at once. It's just, it's a great feeling. Let's take a look over at Don Donovan here, who looks to be making up a spot on Yildirim, really closing that gap there, coming down the final straight. Good opportunity for a move here. Tricky with Daniel right in front of him. You know, we sort of laugh because it feels like every race you always say, this is not a good track for overtaking. But let me tell you, this is not a good track for overtaking, although that is GT3 racing. You got to find your opportunities, you got to pinpoint it, and you got to take advantage of that one that presents itself. You cannot be overly aggressive. If you're overly aggressive, you will find yourself in the steward's room. Let's take a look at Taruga here for a little bit as he's falling tight. A little squirmy there out of the corner. So interesting to see. Last season, Tyler basically pit right away. A lot of other drivers choose to wait as long as they can to pit. So, interesting change of strategy for Tyler, especially something that worked to get him a victory last season. See how that plays out as Tarugo's right there. Tarugo's ready for it. Ooh, bad exit there. Took a little too much speed trying to set it up. Let's give Tyler a little chance to run away with it down this red straight. Let's take a look at Donovan again. Exactly, yeah, it's not a very normal strategy for Tyler to use a normal strategy. Another very interesting livery here with this Red Bull one. You're right, Fanto. Oh, there he goes. Nope. Sticks a nose in a little bit, but there's never going to be space there. He doesn't really go for the switchback, which he might have been able to complete here. Try to get for a good view to watch this overtake. Oh, here he comes. He's lining it up. Yildirim absolutely has to be feeling this pressure, just staring down that rear view mirror. He makes a move inside. They're going to bump doors a little bit, but they are fine. And ladies and gentlemen, we have an overtake by Donovan on Tayfun Yildirim, picking on the new guy. But what a move by Don. Tayfun's going to run wide there. That's going to kind of seal that move by Donovan. Let's take a look back. Not sure what happened. Tarugo's coming into the pits. He is the first driver to willingly come into the pits. I'm looking at you, Vlad, who left the race. Vlad is no longer with us, so unfortunately, our D-Gen of the day has been a D-Gen, and he is not here anymore. But there is still hope. Let's not watch him pit. With Kyle Hirsch, who has got a long way to make up on Neil. He's at 7.5 seconds now. So Neil just keeps growing that gap more and more. But he's holding off Darren and he's holding off Gav. Who at some point with these guys being so close, you got to think they just go for that move. 22 minutes left. It's still probably a little early to get that risky. But we'll see how many other drivers start to pull into the pit lane here. They still got 17 minutes to pit. Tarugo's the first one in. How will that play out for him? You know, you always want to try to time it where you don't run into too much traffic, especially with the blue flags.
We are at the halfway mark. Still a long way to go.
I appreciate that, Fanto. Oh! Darren made the move on the inside. A little bump from Gav, and that's going to open it up for Zaborg to come through, too. Darren finally gets it from Kyle. He's going to run away from that a little bit, but let's look back and watch Zaborg, Cook, and Giannias. We're going to go 3 wide, possibly here. Gav's still holding that position, but he's feeling it from Evan behind him, and he's feeling it from Giannia behind him. It didn't look like that damage or that contact was enough to cause too much damage for Kyle. However, with that being said, I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Darren now. Darren's going to run away with it. He's already almost a second ahead. They definitely thought about it, and they're still thinking about it. You are absolutely right. As they're going to all nearly touch again. It'll be interesting to see if Kyle decides to use this opportunity to pit. Maybe he's losing his tires a little bit from pushing so hard. But Gav's got to handle that pressure. And Zaborg and Giannia. An absolute battle here for these guys. And Wicks has got it over a second on Kyle now, so he's pretty much gone. Can Wicks make up 8 seconds to get to Neil Kerbal? That is going to be our question for the pro victory here. Can Gav hold off these drivers while still trying to make up some time on Kyle, who how is he mentally right now after finally getting passed by Darren after that, 20-minute battle that they've had going on here? Gav's finally getting a little breathing room from Zaborg, which I'm sure he is not complaining about. Although he runs a little wide there, kind of misses his braking point a little bit. Outside of this battle here, let's quickly peek over at Tyler Morgan, who has closed the gap on Zawadzki, who ran wide there. This is going to open it up for Tyler to possibly make a move, as he's got it down under a second now. Good traction on this back straight. If Tyler can close this gap enough and he is brave enough, he may be able to make a move into these high-speed corners here. If Neil doesn't get taken out by a back marker for the 395th time, I hope not, because then we'll have to change his number to 396. But don't you push that curse on him, Pally. Not after all the work Magnus has done here today. Magus. Not Magnus. Magus. Alright, and while we're following this, it looks like we get over to Giannia, who is... He got past Zaborg because Zaborg decided to pit and bail out of this battle here. Kyle is also kind of holding on here, only 7/10 behind Wix, so he's kind of holding on, and Neil is keeping that solid lead. Clean air in front of Neil, so he doesn't really have too much to worry about, although it does look like he did just lap Yildirim and... who else did he lap here? Tarugo as well, who Tarugo is trailing Neil. So Neil's got through a couple back markers without issue. Let's hope that keeps up for him. We'll keep following Giannia and Gav here, because this is probably our close and best battle at the moment. So it's an interesting decision for Giannia here. He's got about a 15 or 16 second lead to the next Pro-Am driver, who is Don Donovan. Does he really decide to battle a pro driver here to try to get 4th place overall? Or does he not risk any sort of incident or contact and just hold on to his 1st place Pro-Am division? If you look over the course of the single race, you always want to finish the best you can in every single race. However, for the sake of his season and his title defense, he really may want to think about just kind of sitting behind Gav here and not pushing his luck too much. He's also got a good opening where he could come in and do a quick pit, add a few liters of fuel, get back out, and kind of have some clean air to run in, which is kind of what I would be thinking if I was Giannia here. Let's follow along with Neil for a few minutes here. Let's take a look at what our race leader is looking at. We'll get there eventually. Or we won't, he's just too far ahead. So we got Yildirim and Tarugo here. Ooh, we got a slide, and Yildirim does a good job to avoid the contact with Tarugo. That is always hairy when someone loses it in front of you. It's a split-second decision that you need to make. One general rule of thumb is go at the car wherever they were when they started sliding, because odds are they're going to slide in one direction or the other, but they won't be where their slide started, so you can kind of aim for that. But Yildirim does a great job of hitting his brakes and avoiding any incident as Tarugo slides out, and his tough race continues. Going from pole position to AM class down in the back, he's got a lot of room to make up, but still Zawadzki, Tyler Morgan, Alan Leung have not pit. Don Fossman, unfortunately, with his issues that he's had earlier in this race, whatever happened with his start, he is still down in 16th place, holding up the rear. Let's take a look at Tyler Morgan as he's still battling Zawadzki. This has been an absolute battle between them this race too, and Tyler hasn't found his opportunity to make that move. Personally, I blame Pally. You ditched him as a teammate, and it's just going to be a downhill spiral for Tyler. So this is all your fault, Pally. And Fanto, you know, I'm not sure if Tarugo took tires or not. He did seem like he was in there for quite a while, so maybe he did decide to take tires, although what we've kind of historically seen since the tire change was optional is you just don't make up enough time. You know, it's, I think, 30 seconds to change your tires, and I'm just not sure, especially when you're pitting late, if you have enough time to make up 30 seconds worth of time. I mean, you need to basically be saving 3+ seconds a lap if you're going to pit with 20 minutes left. You don't got the laps to make it up. Gavin Cook has got a drive-through penalty. Yeah, you're right, Fanto, and it might be a good decision for Tarugo. We may see him kind of charge back, because like I said, it did feel like he was in the pits for quite a while. But Gav must have got track limit violations here. It's the only thing I can think of that got him this drive-through penalty, and that is absolute devastation for Gavin Cook. A great race in the pro category. Yeah, it is going to spoil his top 5, but I can still drag him in here, and we can all point fingers and laugh at him for not keeping his car on the track. But Gianni is right there. He's going to keep sticking his nose in. Like I said before, if I was Gianni, I would just back off a little bit. They're going to pull in the pits together. Yeah, Fanto, sorry if I misspoke there. I meant that he probably had track limits. But yeah, nonetheless, that is just absolutely devastating for Gavin, who just had a mega race going for himself. As you got Tyler here still trying to do something with Damien, who he's handled this pressure very, very well. Because it is not easy. I mean, it can be frustrating when you're trailing a car for lap after lap after lap. Cook got cooked. That's a good one. But yeah, to be able to handle that pressure of a car in your rearview mirror and not get distracted as they try to bait you or make different moves, or they start to stick a nose in the inside or something like that. So, absolute masterclass by Damien here, and hopefully he can continue to hold that. So we're starting to see a lot of drivers pit. We got Giannia, who's pit, still leading the Pro-Am class. He's got about, 8-9 seconds to Evan Saborg, who is also pit. Nyrads has pit, but he's got a drive-through as well. Also devastating for Nyrads. I am not sure. I think that might be a track limit as well. We got Daniel Hirsch, who's pit. Yildirim, who's pit. Cooper, who's pit. Neil Kerbel, our leader, has still not pit. We finally got to his camera. Now let's see what our race leader sees at 9.3 seconds above Kyle Hirsch. Who Kyle Hirsch has got ahead because Damien pit, or Darren Wicks, sorry, Darren Wicks pit. Darren is 9.5 seconds behind Kyle Hirsch here. Fanto, I think you're right. I think some of these drivers are taking tires. That's the only reason I can think of as how Darren's got so far behind him and still kind of sitting in the pits here. Unless something happened that we missed, kind of looking up and down the grid here. Tyler and Damien are both going into the pits here. This is going to be big. Let's try to get to them. Damien gets in quite early on him. But who's taking more fuel? Are we doing tire changes? I don't think they're doing tire changes. Damien's going to hold that lead through there. Inches apart as they're coming out of the pit. We got 5 minutes or so left for these drivers to pit. Our leader Neil has not pit. Kyle Hirsch has not pit. Don Donovan, who is now leading the Pro-Ams, has not pit. And Gavin Cook has not pit, although he's drove through the pit lane as these two are off. This may play out well for Don if he can hold his tires for a couple. He's got 10 minutes to go. He's got to get these tires. He's got a fair gap, 10, 18, 19 seconds he's got to Giannia here. He may be able to hold this with just some fuel. And Tyler's going to run wide. He's getting out of Neil's way, but he runs wide, and he's definitely losing a big chunk of time here. Now, where will Damien let him through? He's got a great opportunity right here just to let Neil through. He is not going to take it. He's going to take it on the back straight here, which also isn't a bad decision. Neil's got to know he's got a 10-second penalty and not push it too much as he's kind of diving on the inside. And Zawadzki's got to get out of the way. It looks like he's going to give Neil that line. Tyler's too far back to do anything with it. And Zawadzki's going to let Neil through. And Neil has once again made it through the crowd safely. I shouldn't say once again. It's a change for Neil. This race, he's finally made it through the crowd safely, although it kind of got hairy as it looked like he was going to throw it down the inside there. Donovan might be doing his super fast pit stop in hopes that it's enough to stay ahead. Yeah, I mean, he's got to come in. All these guys got to kind of come in here in the next lap or two. There's just not enough time, but I think you're absolutely right. I think Donovan is trying to come through. He's going to throw in whatever it is, 5 liters, 6 liters, and try to get in and out of there as quickly as possible. It's going to be tight between Giannia and him. But the long pit strategy seems to be working for these guys. See if we can find any good action here. Got Wicks behind Cook, but Cook's going to dive into the pits, and he's going to finally complete his pit stop here. We got Bradley Cooper. I saw him, I think, coming out of the pit lanes, and it looks like he got a drive-through penalty as well. That or it's track limits. I really wish I had an overlay or a mod or something that would show me those. Morgan's the one who's got those, so we'll have those in the future streams. Have a little bit of a better idea. But yeah, Bradley unfortunately has got a drive-through penalty, although currently in last place for Pro-Am. I don't think it's really hurting his race too much. It's been a tough night for Cooper as it is. So let's follow Daniel Hirsch for a tiny bit here. Gonna try to get along with some of these drivers who maybe haven't got too much time on the stream. We kind of got some gaps here. Nothing is too close. We may pull over to Tyler and Damien if we want to watch that kind of play out. But if there's any drivers you guys want to see for these last few minutes here as Daniel Hirsch goes wide, let me know in chat and we'll get them up on the stream. Unless anyone's got any other requests, we'll watch Tyler as he tries to close the gap here on Damian Zawadzki. And at some point, Tyler's going to have to make the move. I mean, I just feel like Tyler's going to. He's going to make that dive. He's going to make a push somewhere. Donovan in the pits. Let's see where he comes out here. Looks like that might have been Giannia who just went through. Yeah, Giannina went through. Yeah. You know, the pit itself isn't long, but you still got to make your way all the way through the pit lane, which adds enough time. So all worked out well for Giannina. And in fact, Zaborg has got like 10 seconds past him too. So Donovan was not able to hold that gap. Although I'm sure if you asked Donovan with the powerhouse racers that we have in Pro-Am, if he would be happy with a podium his first race of the season, he would say, hell yeah, brother. I don't know. I don't think Donovan talks like that, but that's my imitation of him. Is there? Tyler makes his move. He's going to go too deep. Oh, he had it. He just couldn't slow down the car enough. And you know he's not giving up because he's right there. 4 minutes and 50 seconds left to go, and Tyler wants this. He wants that win. More than anything, Tyler wants to defend his title. He has so much pride in that. We're going to see another move from him at some point. Oh, but Tyler got a drive-through for track limits. No, and that's going to be absolutely devastating to Tyler. Oh, no. Well, an early end to a great battle between Tyler and Damien, and that's unfortunate for him. And Tyler's got to kind of run through because he's going to lose a lot more places than that. I mean, he may find himself losing a podium. Well, he's probably going to lose that podium to Leung. May even lose it to Tarugo as well as he goes off again. And he's absolutely feeling that pressure. Tyler, I'm sorry for what's happening to you out there, buddy. I wish there was something I could do from up here. But unfortunately, we cannot. With that, let's follow Leung a little bit. I don't think we've watched too much Leung today. Kind of see what he's done. Probably finish that last lap with Neil, who's currently 7.4 seconds ahead of Wicks, who's almost 2.5 seconds ahead of Kyle Hirsch. Giannina holding down 4th place. We got Zaborg, we got Donovan, we got Daniel Hirsch, we got Gav Cook, who is probably just absolutely gutted with how his race is finished. Damian Zawatsky, who's got to be absolutely over the moon with how he's done. I mean, he has absolutely battled today. He went to war out there with Tyler, and he came out ahead, and there's no feeling better than that. We got Mitch, who's probably frustrated with those drive-through penalties, just like Gav. We got Yildirim, who's made a very good first race out here for himself. It always takes a little bit to get used to racing in DRL, and he's done a great job for his debut race. We got Leung currently in 2nd place, who's going to be very happy with that. Very quiet 2nd place. We got Tarugo, who started in pole position, found himself nearly last, and came back to a podium position. So he's going to hope to hold that podium position. He's got to keep Tyler off 6 seconds for about 2 minutes. Should not be that hard. And Don Fossman, who has been an absolute trooper out there today. I don't know what happened at the start of his race. He ended up starting from the pit lanes. Highly unfortunate, but he stuck it out and doing the best he can out there. We got Niraj right here on the back of Damien, who, again, I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't really try to fight too much here. Just let these guys through. But, you know, you got your pride. That's important as well. Emotions and stress are absolutely building up with all that. Too many mistakes in one lap. But yeah, you start to feel the pressure. I mean, when you know how it is. When you're trailing someone and you're trying to make that move lap after lap after lap, it's hard. I mean, at some point, you try to break a little bit later, you make a silly mental mistake, and it's one thing that's always really impressive with the pro drivers that you see up there is how patient they are. And even when it feels like you're looking at it like, oh, there's a gap for them, they just know they need to make up a little bit. Maverick, sorry, buddy. Did you get your drive-through for speeding at the start of the race? We got 40 seconds left. We don't really got too much going on. Let's just ride along with Neil here to finish. Oh, Vlad, that sucks so much. Yeah, welcome back to ACC, buddy. I know it's a frustrating race for you out there, but I do highly recommend you check out the recording of the stream, especially in the beginning of the race. Thank you, Vlad. I appreciate that. This is my first time doing it, and
Neither has finished the race.
yeah, I don't know. You're never so sure when it's yourself, so I do appreciate you, you know, and Fanto as well for the compliments. So we have Neil finishing in first place. We got Darren, who managed to hold on to that second position, and Kyle Hirsch, who round out the top three, not only for the podium for the race, but for their class as well. Gianni is going to go ahead and finish first place for Pro-Am. Evan Zaborg looks like he'll be able to hold on. Find these guys. Zaborg is going to hold on for second. Donovan's going to hold on for third. We got Daniel Hirsch, who's coming in. He's finished. We got Gav. So unfortunate for Gav. He's going to end up finishing fifth place. So he still made his top five, but someone might have bounced already. We got Nirads, who unfortunately had the drive-through penalty as well. And we got Damien, who finished. Congratulations to Damien for his AM victory, first place. We got Yildirim, who finished fourth place here. That might not be right either, because we got some drivers who are leaving the race. We got Leung, who looks to be finishing, well, he will finish in second place. Tarugo finished in third place, and Tyler Morgan finished in fourth place. So here we go, our final standings for the race. We got Kerbal, Wicks, Hirsch, Giannia, Zaborg, Donovan, Hirsch, Cook, Nyrad, Zawatsky, Yildirim, Leung, Tarugo, Morgan, Fossman, Cooper, Maverick, and Spencer Braun, who unfortunately was disqualified. All right, let me get a second here. Let me hop over to Discord and see if anyone is sitting in the green room looking to have an interview. Thank you, Pally. I appreciate the compliments. It was a great start to our season here. Exciting start to Season 7. I think this is going to be one of our best seasons yet. Our drivers are closer in pace than we've ever had before. Every single class is going to have battles. Hopefully they have battles like this week over week. Let me pull up here. I do not have it off the top of my head, so let me pull up where is our next race here. Our next race is going to be in another fan favorite or not, which is in Circuit of the Americas, or COTA. COTA is a very fun track. It's a very good track for racing and one of the few tracks that has great overtaking opportunities, but not a lot of drivers seem to like driving it. It really takes a lot of feel, and you kind of need to get in like that zone or that groove as you're moving through, especially through those S sections. They can be really tricky to do. COTA should be a very interesting race. We'll have Morgan back in the booth, which will be great. Be happy to have him back, as we've had a great start to the season, like I said.
Green light, go, go, go.
Yes, the Kerbal Cheer Squad has come through big time. You guys cheered Kerbal onto a victory. Give everyone one more minute if they want to join into the green room. But again, in case you missed it, I do recommend checking out the video. It'll get posted to YouTube at some point. I'm not sure when Morgan's going to be able to post that because he is on holiday with his family. But you can always watch it here on stream or on Twitch as well. We had 3 drivers that were featured today. We had Kyle Hirsch from the Pro category. We had Vlad Maverick, who is featured from the Pro-Am category. And we had Don Fossman from the AN category. And speaking of Kyle Hirsch, he was in the green room and then he left the green room. Let me see if he wants to come back. But I got to say, Kerbal absolutely ran away with this race today. A very impressive race from Neil Kerbal, who qualified in 3rd place and just honestly destroyed the competition. We had a great battle up there in the start of the race. We had Wicks and we had Kyle Hirsch, who were just neck and neck that whole time. We had Zawatsky and we had Tyler Morgan, who had a great battle as well out there. We didn't have a ton of overtakes, but we definitely had some exciting moments on the track. Now, for everything I did put together on this stream, I did not think to put together an outro clip. So we are going to get ready to wrap up the stream here, and I will just have to do our starting soon little clip. But thank you everyone who's been here. Pally, Fanto, Magus Mogus, Maverick, Composite, the Kerbal Cheer Squad. Thank you guys all for interacting with us during the stream. Really looking forward to this season. I think it's going to be a great season, a fun season, and we're going to have a ton of action. Until next week, this has been DRL ACC Season 7. We'll see you next time.